Peace, family. Every day during this Donald Trump administration proves my point over and over again. The Democrat and Republican Party, both of them are trash. The Republicans, they care nothing about the Constitution, morality, the laws, the natural order of things. They don't care. If it stands in between them and their objective, they'll get rid of it. And the Democrats, y'all are just as bad or probably worse. Watch this.
The use of military force, which is offensive in nature, must be approved by the House and the Senate. That's according to the Constitution. It's not optional, Donald. It's not. But the Trump administration intentionally decided to ignore the aggressive diplomacy that was available to it to try to address the Iranian nuclear threat and ignore the requirements of the Constitution, and now they've got to explain why.
Boy, you Democrats. Let me respond first. When you allow a person that has 34 felonies to become president of the United States, and you empower that person with immunity, then following the constitutional norms automatically becomes optional. If following the Constitution stands in the way of what Donald Trump and the Republican Party want, giving their political candidate immunity means that they can step aside, honor, dishonor the Constitution at their whim. You Democrats should have did something about that. You elected a felon, or you allowed a felon to be president of the United States. And then let me be clear. I'm not trying to say that a person that committed a felony should never be president, but there should be a procedure to go through before you can become president. If a person break the law and released back into society, before he's able to do that, he's monitored. His actions and behavior are monitored for a certain period of time. And then the longer he's out, he's restored his rights, freedoms, and privileges. This is what they call a probationary period before he's released unmonitored. You allowed Donald Trump to be president of the United States, but he was convicted of 34 felonies 2 weeks before he was sworn in. And you've given him immunity. Let a felon be released from prison. What's the likelihood of this person to be released into society, unmonitored, unchecked, and given immunity just in case he decides to break the law? You wouldn't do that for a felon. Why would you do it for somebody who want to be president? Why didn't you Democrats pass some type of law, legislation, procedure that if a person be a felon, that he has to go through some type of probationary period before he can get back into politics? This felon would be a threat to society, to the community that he's going to go to. A felon president is a threat to the country and the world. And now you want to hold more hearings? For what? You're giving him immunity. He could sit there and admit that he did everything that he wanted to, irregardless of the punishment, just to satisfy his own economic or political ambition. And what are you going to do? It's sad that people keep bouncing back and forth between the Democrat Republican Party because they think they can find favor in one or the other, when the real salvation is creating an alternative system that honors the law, and it would prevent this type of nonsense. But the only way we can get to that is we have to first abandon all hope into this system And I've done that long ago. This country is almost 250 years old. And you got a felon that has a sexual assault on his record as President of the United States. And you's allowing this guy to not only roam from one side of the country to the other, but he's able to influence and go around the world with immunity. If it got to get worse than this before people start to thinking about creating an alternative, just imagine what that would have to be, what it would look like. It makes absolutely no sense.